Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of We Don't Talk About Uno, a podcast about the Disney Lorcana trading card game. David, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, Simeon.
Hang on, no. That's not what you said before we switched the microphones on.
Okay,
David,
I'm a bit sleepy.
Lovely. I love that you're a bit sleepy and you've just made yourself a nice little cup of decaf tea.
Good herbal tea, yeah.
Good herbal tea to tuck you in for the night. I
Yeah.
can't say anything. I'm also drinking tea. Anyway, what are we doing today?
We've got so much to talk about because it's a long time since we last recorded. So there's a whole load of different things we're going to talk about. And one of the things that I'm excited to share is that we've partnered with a card trader called Magic Madhouse.
Magic Madhouse, if you are in the UK, you probably know who Magic Madhouse are.
Yeah, if you want to buy magic cards in the UK and you Google that, that's probably the first result you're going to see is Magic Madhouse. Or Pokemon even, I think.
Yeah, they do Pokemon. They do all the games.
And they're going to sell Lorcana, I'm pretty sure.
Brilliant.
And they asked us to write an article for them, so we did. So if anyone wants to find that, you can Google Magic Madhouse Lorcana and you'll find that article.
Yeah, I checked that yesterday and it's still the most recent article on their blog. And very excitingly, they've had a blog for a while and I've quite enjoyed their blog. However, very excitingly, their blog now appears on their front page, on the main menu. Their blog's one of the things you can click on there.
Oh,
so
cool.
That's nice.
So we're on the front page.
They're obviously... they're obviously putting a bit more effort into the content there, which is lovely to see. So great. So you wrote that article. You say we've written that article. I did nothing.
You introduced me. You made the introduction.
Well, you see, yeah, but Jared introduced me to them. So anyway, yeah, big shout out to Jared, Citizens of Lorcana, for the introduction that I then introduced to David because I mean, he does writing better than I do. Anyway, yeah, go and have a look. And it's all up online. And the article is called Disney will launch a new card game to go up against Magic the Gathering and Pokemon called Disney Lorcana. It's kind of what it says on the tin, isn't it? The title. The title is the article.
Well, I guess they've touched all the bases, haven't they? Because their audience is Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. So if their audience sees the article, they're going to be like, oh, curious, interesting.
Amazing. So we had quite a bit of news as well. So since we last recorded, there's been a reveal thing of the Trove, the Illumina's Trove. There have been lots of cards spoiled. We've also had an interview with the head of the story at Lorcana, and we've also had US, Canada, and UK pricing confirmed. So we're going to go through all of that before we touch on the cards. But first of all, have you seen the video for the Illumina's Trove?
I haven't. Have you?
What? If you've not done your homework, David, come on. Yes, so there was a video on social media that shows the Trove. I thought you would be excited about this because I know you like cardboard boxes.
I'm going to buy all the cardboard.
So there's the Illumina's Trove, there's a video, and the packaging on the outside kind of fully comes off and reveals like a different box on the inside. It looks like a really nice, product, like a nicely designed product. Inside it, they show off the deck boxes, which there are 2 deck boxes inside there, as well as a load of packs. I can't remember quite how many, but there were a load of packs in there as well. 8 packs. So it's a bit like a Magic the Gathering bundle or a trainer box, I think it's called for Pokemon. However, somebody on Twitter, sorry, I couldn't find this again when I looked again, but somebody on Twitter noticed, there's no mention when they have revealed all of this about any resource cards, and they don't show that. Well, they show the tokens, they show the cards, and they show the boxes.
Ink cards they would be, wouldn't they? Because you cast things with ink, that's what you mean.
Well, any kind of resource for paying the cost of playing a card.
You pay it with ink.
Yes.
We know that.
Yeah. There aren't any. Whereas if you were to buy a bundle of a different trading card game like Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, you'd probably, as well as the packs, have a pack of resource cards because you need so many to go into a deck. So I think this is another sign that indicates we're probably not going to have resource-specific cards.
Which indicates some kind of turn tracker, so you get 1 resource on turn 1 and 2 on turn 2 and 3 on turn 3 and so on.
So that is one way. That's how Hearthstone and a lot of other card games and Marvel Snap and a lot of digital card games implement that because you don't have to think about it. You don't have to go, which turn are we on? You don't have to move a tracker on. The other way that games have implemented this have either been with the deck itself, so discarding cards to pay the cost of other cards, which is a possibility, I suppose.
Yep.
Or the other thing, which seems unpopular, is life decking, where you mill cards. So you put cards from your deck into your discard pile to pay for things.
I don't think people enjoy doing that.
No, people put cards in their decks because they want to play the cards, not because they want to get rid of them. But discard's an interesting thing. That's what I'm hoping. My hope is that I've enjoyed games like that. So Final Fantasy trading card game implements that, where you discard a card to pay for different things. I've enjoyed that because it's an interesting little mind game. Do I want to play this card, or do I want to save it for later, or do I want to discard it to play something else?
Marvel Champions does the same.
Yeah. Marvel Champions that's the way. And I like that little. There are different ways I could play this same hand of cards. How do I maximize that?
I don't think it's going to be that. And I'll
You don't
come
think
to
it's
the
gonna be
reasons later. And in terms of the spoiled cards, I think it seems unlikely given what's been spoiled.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it might be, on turn 1 you get 1 resource, on turn 2 you get 2, or whatever that is. We haven't seen anything else that makes more resources that I've seen. Because in all of these games, when there's a resource system, there are generally
Cards that you can play.
Yeah, that you pay an extra cost to have extra resources.
So some of the cards that have been spoiled are called items, and it would usually be an item. It might be a character, but it would usually be an item that gives you those extra resources. So we've not seen that yet.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Anyway, that's more speculation, though. That's all good. So tell me about the new head of story at Lorcana.
Yeah, this was kind of interesting. I don't know if Lorcana officially announced it, but there was an article published in thegamer.com written by Eric Switzer. And he interviewed the head of story at Lorcana called Samantha McFerrin. And Samantha shared some quite interesting little tidbits about the game. Her background's publishing. She worked for 10 years as the director of global editorial at Disney.
Where did you find that out? Have you been stalking her on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, yeah.
Amazing. So is her job title head of story at Ravensburger? Is that?
No, it's not. So I don't know if she runs her own company. She's no longer working at Disney.
Oh, okay. So like a consultant.
So I'm wondering if she was brought in as a consultant or something like that.
That said,
it runs with the trend of them recruiting like top talent, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, that's a big catch for them. But also, the thing I like is that they've invested in a head of, like, whether it's a full-time employee or a consultant or whoever it is, there is actually a position that is head of story.
Yeah. So one of the really interesting things she's talked about is how the story is revealed through the game, but also through spoilers and through social media and their social media accounts. So it will be an ongoing saga that's kind of plays out in dialogue between the game and what's shared online, it sounds like.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they've said that there isn't a specific way that it's not like, oh yes, we're going to have a story, it's going to be on Disney Plus, and you can pay extra to watch it. And it's a 6-part series. Because that's what a lot of card games... So a lot of card games have either an ongoing anime, like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Or there's a specific way in which the story is imparted. And back in the day, Magic the Gathering had its paperback, novels. But other card games just have this kind of, like, the essence of a story imparted through the cards.
Yeah, whereas this seems... What seems to be suggested is that it's much more specific. Like, she's also mentioned that if a card has a location in it, so like Stitch's card he's singing on the stage.
Yeah.
Hades is... Can you remember where Hades is?
He's on the Golden Throne.
He's on the Golden Throne. So these places are real places in the realm of Lorcana. So the realm of Lorcana is not just a place that you imagine as a Lumineer. It's a kind of actual space with
and there's a specificity there. So the character Stitch has actually played a rock concert, for example.
Yeah. So that leaves open lots of questions. So I think that's quite an interesting thing. Eric Switzer, who wrote the article, speculates that maybe we'll have location cards in the future. I don't know if that's that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be interesting. Well, that would also complement the rest of the card types, because so far we've seen glimmers, character cards. We've seen items, and we've seen actions.
Yeah.
most card games have more than 3 types of card.
What we haven't seen, which was in the very first press release, they talked about the Great Illuminary being the place where Disney characters and songs all come together, and we've not seen anything about songs yet.
Songs,
But it was in the
amazing.
first press release, so I
okay.
wonder if there's something there as well.
Yeah, that would be interesting. How would a song card work?
How would a song go?
I love that. I really hope it's like first verse, second verse, third verse, like a saga in Magic the Gathering, as opposed to sing this.
No, I don't think they're going to make anybody sing. And so
No,
another
definitely
thing, this is the final thing from Samantha McFerrin's interview that I'm going to touch on. We might touch on the story itself, but in terms of the additional stuff that she shared, was the difference between Dreamborn and Storyborn and Floodborn characters, which we've speculated on and other content creators have speculated on. And it turns out the speculation has been correct.
Brilliant. Okay.
So Storyborn characters, they're taken directly out of a Disney movie, out of a Disney story. They will look very similar to the one in the story.
Yeah, they're relatively canon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dreamborn is the reimagined version. So like
Okay.
Captain Hook, we talked about having a blade
Yes.
rather than a hook, because Captain Hook's Dreamborn, the card we've seen. And that's exactly what it is. Dreamborn is reimagined versions of Disney characters. Floodborn, she was very tight at the time apparently and said that will come out through the story in the future, what that means.
Okay. And was this the article where we saw the date for the second set?
No, it wasn't, but that's also been revealed, hasn't it, on a different website.
I forgot that entirely. Oh, my goodness. Yes. What was that on? We'll have to find that. Okay, I'm going to do some
It was
typing.
the same. No, it was Games Radar. It was the same website as the pricing. The pricing and date
the
came out
pricing.
the same.
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Well, did you have anything else to say about the story before we move on to the pricing?
I don't know if I want to read the whole story, but I'm a bit puzzled by the story.
Okay, what puzzles you?
And we had a discussion about this via text message because it feels like, so you're a Lumineer and your job is to cast magical ink and create Disney characters to add to the law of Lorcana to protect Lorcana.
Okay.
And then it says, soon, other Illumineers across the globe will be called to the aid of Lorcana. You'll summon glimmers to quest with you as you search for missing lore in a race against time. Only together, this is the really interesting line, only together can you protect this wondrous realm, the realm of Lorcana, from threats. So to me, that really sounded like it's a working together game, a cooperative game, which I don't think it is. But
Well,
from the story, it sounds like it is.
They've described it as competitive, haven't they? Mm-hmm. So it could be collaborative and competitive. But
so it could be semi-cooperative. So
Yeah.
through the game, you build up a pile of lore somehow. Mm-hmm. You work together to get the lore, and then towards the end of the game, one of you takes an action where, okay, I'm the one who's claiming this lore. Seems a bit mean,
Okay.
but that's like semi-cooperative, where you work together towards the goal, and then one of you did slightly better, so you win it.
Yeah, that's one way it could work. I guess it does. It definitely indicates, or to me, it seems like it's more about like collecting something, or rather than banishing
life
your
total.
opponent.
Yeah.
Banishing your opponent for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily. Yeah, so far nothing indicates to me that it's particularly a battle between people. But I did say on the text, a lot of these things there might be a story, but essentially it's a game, and the story is like a mnemonic for the game.
Yeah.
In Magic the Gathering, it's exactly the same. That they've kind of flirted with the idea of, oh, you are a planeswalker, summoning all of these things to your aid to banish your opponent. And sometimes they've gone with that, and sometimes they've gone with, no, you're a player and you're summoning planeswalkers and stuff. And we don't really know whether what flies with the audience right now. So I don't know.
The difference with Lorcana is it feels like they really want to tell a coherent story in a pointing ahead of story, and who's talked about that already.
Oh yeah, and when you're starting, you've got to have some kind of storyline as to why you, why am I trying to achieve this goal in the game?
So my other speculation based on this is that when you banish a character, you gain that character's lore. So we talked about, for example, before, you might tap your own characters to get their lore. But I'm just wondering now, instead you challenge character, then if you defeat that character, you get the amount of lore that's displayed on their lore symbol. So, for example,
I
Brave Little
see.
Tailor has 4 lore symbols.
So if you defeat Brave Little Tailor,
You get 4 lore. So
you
that's the
get
kind of
4 lore.
working together part, because you like. I'm just trying to work out this working together thing, but I also
That's
think
not
that
working together. Oh, I'm going to banish all of your characters. Oh, look, haven't we done well? No, not buy that one.
you're not buying that. Well, let's see. Let's see. I was right about what lore is. So
No, that's great. Yeah. No, like, oh no, I totally. I think that's a great idea that when you banish your, when you banish your opponents. Glimmers or characters that you get their lore, that could be really interesting. But yeah, the fact that they've described that as working together, that's what I'm not buying. Brilliant. Okay, I found the thing. There's another article. Sorry, so we should say where we're getting this stuff.
yeah, that was from thegamer.com. The interview with Samantha McFerrin was at thegamer.com.
Brilliant. And you've been stalking Samantha McFerrin?
Not stalking. I looked at her. That's a bit. I checked out her LinkedIn profile to understand her background.
Her LinkedIn profile to understand her background, and therefore you've invited her onto the podcast, yeah?
No.
We should do that. Okay.
I think you have to pay to send messages on LinkedIn to people you don't know.
Oh.
I think that's how they make their money.
Oh, okay.
You're looking for a job, you give them money so you can message anybody.
I don't give them any money. Anyway, so there was a second article that's which I already spoke about a little bit, and that's on gamesradar.com with pricing, but also with some dates. Now, we already knew that the card game was going to be previewed at, I want to say Gen Con, at
the start of August.
Yeah, at a Gamescom that I will not be at the start of August, and then it'll actually be launched on the 18th of August. So that's going to be, the 18th of August is going to be in specialist and hobby stores.
In the US only,
in the US, followed by full mass market retail launch on September
and international launch on September 1st.
Yes.
That's.
Oh, I hadn't read that bit.
That's not in what you've just read out, but that's what they said previously.
Oh, okay. So international launch on September the 1st. I've got to wait a whole other week and a bit. Or was that 2 weeks?
You've got to wait 2 weeks
after other people
the
have their cards,
local board game
for me to have the cards.
You could fly to America to a local board game shop and pick them up.
I'm going to go with no on that.
You could make a friend in America. We could make a friend in US and ask them, we'll pay you the shipping. Will you send it over for us?
Let's be honest, the way shipping is in the UK, it's going to take longer than 2 weeks to get here, isn't it?
Well, even if it takes 2 weeks, that's quicker than us ordering it on September the 1st and then waiting another 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair dues. Right, okay. Oh, man. Oh, that's not fair. Okay, never mind. Thanks for disappointing me, David. That's
You're welcome.
fine. Anyway, so international launched September the 1st. Anyway, they've also on the Gamer article, on the Games Radar article, for set 2, they also have the games of the dates, of the second set. And the second set will be out on November the 17th in game stores. And then on December the 1st is their mass market retail launch.
And Lorcana, we're talking about set 2, because Lorcana have said that they're going to be releasing 4 sets a year.
4 sets a year.
And they've planned out multiple years.
That kind of stands to reason that if they've launched something in August and September, that the next one comes ahead of Christmas.
Yeah.
That's something to... And there'll probably be there'll be some gift set as well for Christmas, won't there? There'll be some Christmassy. Oh,
you know what to buy me now, Simeon, for Christmas.
Whatever. That's happening. Well, I don't know if I'll be able to buy you it, because they've also released pricing. No, that's very tongue-in-cheek. They have released some pricing, which we can look at now. We had seen pricing before, so the Mushu report had some pricing news for German suppliers in euros, but we've now had the official pricing released by Games Radar, and this is for US, Canada, and UK markets. So how much are things costing, David?
The starter decks, so that's when you get a deck of 60 cards that's ready to go, and it also includes a booster. In addition to 60 cards, you get a booster pack of 12 random additional cards, 11 damage counters, 1 tracker token. So I'm wondering if tracking is either like turns or lore. Probably lore, but...
It depends. It could it's either a resource management system or
Yeah.
it's a win con. You know, how do we win the game collecting?
They're
something?
one paper playmat. Yeah, it's it's a little bit confusing that there's only one tracker because there needs to be some kind of, in my opinion,
Yeah.
if you're paying to cast the cards, there needs to be some kind of resource indicator of how much you've got left.
Or
to
maybe
spend.
when you banish cards, they go somewhere else, and you get however much lore is in
And you
that
can
zone.
spend your lore to cast other things.
I mean, that would be complex.
That would be really complicated.
Well, I mean, not necessarily too complicated, but that would be more complex than I think they're going for. However,
Or maybe you get a starting pot of lore. So you start with 20 lore and you can spend
you
it.
still have to track it.
Yeah, but that's one tracker then, because then it's a tracker for winning lore, but it's also tracking for spending.
what?
For spending, for
Yeah,
resource.
and then the win con tracker.
Getting up to even more lore.
Oh, I see. Oh, right.
So you start with 20 and you have to get to 40 or 50 or something.
There's got to be a limit. You can't give somebody 20 resources at the start of the game and expect them not
If they
to
want
just
to play all their cards, you
play all
can.
their cards on the first turn. That would be a very quick game. Okay, sorry, we've gone off on a tangent again. It's just like, oh,
Okay,
here's a load of other
pricing. So
pricing.
these starter decks, they cost in the US $16.99, in Canada $21.99, and in the UK, which I find a bit weird, $17.99 because the pound is roughly at parity with the dollar, but it's certainly not worth less than $1. So to price it at more seems unusual, especially when we come to the pricing of the booster packs, which
Okay.
is where you get 12 random cards.
Yes.
So in the US, that's $5.99. In Canada, $7.99. In the UK, $4.99.
So in the UK, it's $4.99 versus $5.99 US dollars
for boosters,
for boosters, but it's more expensive to buy the starter decks.
yeah. Which we talked a little bit about this, and you said they've probably just done their market research, and that's what they think the market will bear.
Yeah, I mean, all of this stuff is done on, what's a good price for this? Not on, here's how much it's cost us to print it and therefore or ship it. I don't think it's anything to do with that. It's all to do with what will the different markets, so i.e. the UK or
they
the
kind of
US
had to
markets.
keep booster packs under £5 in the UK. I feel like if it was £7, so it was more than the dollars, it would be like that's
So-
2 booster packs of another game nearly.
Yeah. So other parents complain to me about how expensive Pokemon cards are for their kids, and that's around £4
£4 for a
in
booster.
the UK for a booster pack.
So these are
So
25% more expensive
yeah,
than
these
that.
are more expensive than that. So I mean, this looks like it's targeted more to gamers. That said, everything's going up at the moment. Like inflation is
Yeah, they might have
crazy
priced in
globally.
inflation.
Yeah, and maybe they've just priced in the fact that when we release this, that's what those are the margins they need to be making.
The other thing to remember, which we talked about before, is in the UK and in Europe, tax is priced in.
Oh yeah, okay,
Whereas in
yeah.
the US, tax will be added on top of these, at least in most states.
Yeah, so that'll be roughly the same price for most people. But
For
booster
the
packs, at least.
starter pack, but the booster pack will be even more expensive in the US.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Sorry,
But-
math's not my forte.
So I'm just looking at the pricing of the gift set. That's when we get Hades and Mulan.
Okay, yeah.
So $29.99 US, $39.99 Canadian dollars, and $27.99 in the UK. Now, what's interesting here is they've specified which type of tracker you get, which I hadn't clocked before.
Oh, right,
So
okay.
you get a lore tracker token. You get 2 lore trackers. So you are tracking lore with this tracker thing.
But we still don't know whether lore is the resource.
Well, it is a resource of some kind, but is it the resource you use to buy cards, or is it the resource you use to win?
I thought they had specified that the resource you use to buy
Ink
cards
is ink.
ink.
Yes, so that, yeah, you're right. You're right.
So it's looking more and more like we're collecting lore, and there's a specific number of lore we
There's
need to collect.
nothing. There's damage counters. There's nothing anywhere that refers to how you manage your ink, track your ink. It's a bit puzzling, isn't it?
Yeah, but then again, other card games don't necessarily give you a way of tracking things that you should be able to track. Do you know what I mean? As in, Pokemon give you tiny
It seems
little
pretty
damage
fundamental.
tokens, which
Seems
are
pretty
very
fundamental,
rubbish.
though.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Yeah,
So really, we can move on to the Illumina's Trove, which is the final pricing we have.
Great. So that's $49.99 in the US, $64.99 in Canada, and $49.99, same price as the US in the UK, $49.99, only pounds rather than dollars. And for that, you get the full art storage box, 2 full art deck boxes featuring Aurora and Mickey.
Well, they've confirmed what the deck boxes are. That's
yeah, if you look at the video on social media, if you go to any of the Lorcana official social medias, they've recently posted the little video, and you can see what they look like. They're the art we've already seen. There's 8 booster packs, 15 damage counters, and a 50-plus page full-colour player's guide printed on thick and glossy paper with art from the game, deck building tips, game strategies, powerful card combinations direct from the design team, a checklist for keeping track of collected cards, and a visual guide to Disney Lorcana, the first chapter.
They've really sold that, haven't they? They've gone to town on describing that.
It's a 50-page
pamphlet
brochure. Yeah. Which so did you ever buy?
But I love those things. I'm into the brochures and pamphlets you get with these
So
games.
while I've been playing Magic the Gathering, one of the first things that disappeared when I started playing, or had recently disappeared, was when you bought a it used to be called Fat Pack, now called a bundle. You used to get a little booklet with a picture of all of the cards in the set.
Oh, that's cool.
Pokemon still do this with certain products. So there's usually a product you can buy with each set that has a picture of every single card you can collect.
Well, Pokemon's more for collectors, whereas I feel like the direction of travel from Magic the Gathering is nobody could ever collect all of it unless...
Yeah. Good luck, guys. Good luck. Anyway.
And I feel like Lorcana's also aiming at collectors as much as gamers. So.
Yeah. Once upon a time, I bought an older Fat Pack that I saw randomly. I was on holiday and walked past a bookshop, and they had old Fat Packs. And I was like, wow, which one of these do I want? And one of them was a Ravlican set, and I love the plane of Ravlica in Magic the Gathering. So I bought it, and there was one of these booklets. And I've still kept it. I've kept it because it's a nice nice thing to look through. Yeah, I can get how, even though we might be making light of it, it's a pamphlet. That's nice. That could be a nice thing for collectors, couldn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think of these pricings? What do you think of the pricing for the gift set and the pricing for the trove in particular? So,
well, it depends what angle you look at it from, doesn't it? Because if you look at it from the angle of comparing it to Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
It seems roughly on a par. It's a little bit more expensive, maybe.
Yeah, looking at a bundle, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's the first one they've done, and you get some nice, it's a nicely presented thing.
Yeah. Looking at it from the angle of, so when I came to trading card games and collectible card games from board games, it's just so expensive compared to board games.
I mean, I feel like that is eye-wateringly expensive for parents.
Yeah.
Which I get might not be their market, but a lot of the promo originally was, this is family stuff. This is a family-friendly
Depends
thing.
on the parents. Like, I don't know. I nearly said kids these days, and then I'm like...
Kids these days? Oh, they don't know what they have.
But I got computer systems, whether that was I'm going to reveal my age now, like a Mega Drive or Atari for Christmas. And... this is a lot cheaper than getting like an Xbox or something. So.
Yeah, but with that, you can see somebody who doesn't understand the game or doesn't understand trading card games can understand oh my goodness, why am I spending £50 on a game for an Xbox or a PlayStation or a Switch? Oh, they'll spend hours and hours doing that.
Yeah.
What am I paying for here? That's just a load of shiny cardboard.
They'll spend hours and hours doing it.
No, I know, but to
everyone, and define me on this. Almost everyone in the Western world, in the world even maybe, understands the concept of collectible cards.
No, I get that, but the point I'm trying to make is that this will be a hard sell for parents.
I don't think the starter packs will be it. What were they? £17 £17.
Oh no, yeah, the starter deck,
£18.
Starter deck, totally fine.
Yeah.
When you see stuff like £50 for a box of trading cards,
that's for collectors, isn't it? The Illumina's Trove is for collectors.
Definitely much more for
starter
collectors.
decks are for players. That's for collectors.
No, that's fine. Okay, here's my point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, again, I'm gonna be old man shouts at clouds. I totally understand that. Yes, this is in the grand scheme of collectible card games. These are probably reasonable prices. For if they price them lower, then these would probably be difficult to get hold of. There's probably some things like that they've got to factor in to their things to make sure.
They've got to cover their margins. They're recruiting all the best talent as well.
Yeah, and also, I know, I get that. I get all of that.
Great
That's
art
absolutely fine. Okay, so what I said before. I mean, fair dues. I stand by for parents. I don't know. I'm thinking of at the school gate, that kind of conversation. That's going to be tough if somebody's just like, oh, your kid plays this. How much is it going to cost me? But okay. My actual concern about this price, not concern, my complaint.
Which price? All of them?
No. The booster pack, fine. Price it. That's fine. Whatever. However, I just don't see what I'm getting for the extra money on the Trove.
Getting 2 deck boxes, damage counters.
Cardboard. I mean, I don't know whether they're cardboard or plastic. They haven't said. But the thing that holds value in that is the cards. And they've still got to make up £10. So they're selling me 3 cardboard boxes, some counters.
So what you're saying is, if you bought 8 booster decks, you'd spend $40.
Sorry, yeah. If I bought 8 booster packs, that would cost me £40 in the UK, and in the UK, the box is costing me $49.99. I would rather have 10 booster packs and no cardboard box. Also, and people will say, "Oh, but it's this lovely collector thing." To that, I say, "Yeah, but." There are amazing companies out there. I buy Dragon Shield deck boxes. They cost, I think they're $2.99 in the local game shop. And so the hard plastic shell boxes.
That's cheap for deck boxes, though. You can spend up to £20, £30 on deck boxes.
Yeah, but that is a hard plastic molded product that it will protect my cards infinitely better than a cardboard box. And is something that I can then choose. I can then choose if I want the hard plastic thing or the. But to me, if I'm spending £50 on Disney Lorcana, I don't feel like. I feel like when you buy a bundle, it should almost be a discount. It should almost be a given that you're getting extra stuff. The thing I like to compare this to is pre-release packs. So Magic the Gathering, when they release a new set, they have events, and you go and you get 6.
Booster packs.
You get 6 booster packs. You get a special print card which will have a stamp on it to indicate that it was given to you at the pre-release, and you get a dice, and you also get a box. Now, the dice, the box, and the extra card, you're pretty much always paying the cost of 6 booster packs to get.
So you're getting those
event.
for free.
So you get all of the extras for free.
Maybe
now,
they've just done their pricing a little
bundle.
bit wrong, because in the US you're getting it for the same price, right? It's $48 to $50. It's $2 difference. Because it's $6 booster packs in the US. So
Maybe it's just we did the market valuation or the market research. Yeah, we did the market research wrong. I don't know, but it's exactly the same with to me the gift set, probably less so. But we've got 4 booster packs. Plus some foils, which will be very nice. It comes.
Yeah,
with,
that seems like less good value, doesn't it? 4 booster packs for the price of 6.
Well, with that though, you get actual collectibles with it. Now they're probably collectibles that aren't going to hold their value that well as well.
Because anyone can get them by buying them.
Because anybody can get them by buying them. Not financial advice. I don't know what I'm talking about. However, generally, if these are printed into the ground, you don't know how accessible those things are going to be. Whereas things that are chase cards in booster packs that you don't know what you're going to get, those are generally harder to access. So maintain their price a little bit better.
But it is a gift set. So it's like, what do I buy my friend, my niece, nephew, my grandson, granddaughter, son, daughter for Christmas? Oh, they really like this new card game. I'll look it up.
That almost makes it worse.
You feel like it's like price gouging.
Why is that not $20 or $21 or $22? Why is that $29 or 27 quid or 28 quid? Sorry, $30 or 28 quid is the fact that you might buy that for someone else. Well, maybe that is a bit of a splurge, but it shouldn't be. I feel like you're buying a lot of this product together. you get a bit of a bonus. And I feel like they've done that with the starter decks. With the starter decks, they've gone, here's a starter deck for a relatively inexpensive price.
And you get a booster pack for it in. Yeah.
But that's it. And you get a free booster pack to get you hooked onto opening booster packs. Great, brilliant. That's what I want from a game. The whole, you're buying a lot of these together. Would you also like to buy cardboard boxes and buy extra damage tokens? And also we've got some other stuff you can buy. I don't know. That's just me. But I think that whenever we see pricing, it's important to query that. It's important to query that and go, okay, well, what am I actually getting for that money?
Yeah. So I think the conclusion is that for people who want to try out Lorcana, the starter deck's a really good value and the best way in.
Yeah, that's what I'm buying. I'm going to buy a starter deck and I'll buy some packs. I don't think I'm going to buy the Trove.
Not going to buy older things like me.
I don't. No, I object to the Trove on moral grounds. No. Okay, shall we? That wasn't even the main topic, David.
No, you were saying how we'd never have enough to talk about tonight.
Oh my goodness! Well, as soon as you gave me your money, I'm just super tight. I think I just need to enjoy the joy of it.
Do you know what, Simeon? I bought a $200 Mickey Mouse card, and it's now worth. I don't know what it's worth, but a lot more than that.
Good job, David. And because that you're selling it and reinvesting that money in, no?
No, but what I do want something I want to say, I think probably we're not the main source of Lorcana news for anyone, but in case we are, there are fakes going around, just to be aware of the Mickey Mouse card at least.
Yeah.
So just to be careful if you're buying
we could have
one.
put that in the news. Let's add that in the news. Oh, David.
But I don't want to have a big discussion about it. It's just like,
I've heard there's some fake cards going around, David.
Someone's being really cynical and printing them and selling them.
Well, that person is scum. Okay, let's go on to the main discussion. We have some new cards.
Lots of new cards.
Well, we've had lots of new cards because we've waited. And I'm really happy to be doing a podcast where we've got lots of things to talk about, which is amazing because every time a new card comes out, I think, should we do an episode? Should we do an episode? And then another card comes out, and I'm like, okay, we've got another one now, so should we do an episode now? But we've waited, and now we've got loads of cards to talk about. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
So the first card we're going to talk about is Magic Mirror, which was the first item card revealed. And it's an item, it's a magic mirror.
Okay.
It's from the movie Snow White. I think people will be familiar with the mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
I've heard that. Yeah.
And it's got a purpley background, so I'm going to say it's an amethyst card. It goes into amethyst decks.
Not only has it got the purpley background, it's also got the
purple
amethyst
amethyst symbol. Yeah.
So I think we can safely say this is an amethyst card. Okay.
That said, the casting cost is similar to some other cards we've seen in that it's less complicated. It's just a hexagon. It doesn't have any symbology around it. We don't know the reason for that yet, but that's just something to note.
Yep. So there are two different types of logo surrounding the top left-hand number in the card, which we're assuming is the casting cost. There's one that is almost like the Lorcana logo with a hexagon on it. This is just a hexagon around it. There's no Lorcana symbol around that. And we're taking that will probably mean something.
Anyway, it costs the number in that side that hexagon is 2. So the assumption is it costs 2.
Okay.
And then its ability is Speak, and you can turn the card sideways, so horizontal. Pay 4 more.
Yes.
And then draw a card. So the first time you draw a card, that's cost you 6 because you paid 2 to cast the magic mirror, and then 4 to activate the magic mirror. And because you turned it sideways, I'm assuming that means you can't then do that again until your next turn. When it comes at the start of your turn, everything you've got in front of you goes back upright, and then you can.
Either at the start or at the end of your turn or whenever it is
at
in
some
the turn
point
sequence.
in your turn sequence.
But that is generally a mechanic which prevents you from using the same thing over and over again. So, my question to you, first of all, is this good value?
For card draw, so you spend 6. It seems to me, so you spend 6 for the first one and 4 subsequently, so it's gradually going to get less, but it's never going to go lower than 4.
6 for 1 card, 10 for 2 cards, 14 for 3 cards.
And compared to what you pay in other games for card draw, this seems like really, really bad value.
So my second question on value then, would it have been broken if you didn't have to turn it sideways or tap it to use? Would it be...
We don't know because we don't know the resource system. So if you can get... It could have been, If you don't have to tap something, exhaust it
Because I feel like
to use it, that is liable to create infinite combos in a trading card game.
Well, yeah, but also but I feel like that would go from a first glance evaluation. This is not knowing anything about the resource system. First glance evaluation, that goes from at the moment just stone cold unplayable to.
I don't think it's unplayable. I'm going to put this in my decks if I have an Amethyst deck.
Okay, but I think putting it to that you could do that twice in one turn. It means that if you draw that super late in the game when you've got tons of resources. You don't know what to do.
And you need to find something to help you win the game.
And you need to find something.
That thing.
That then turns it into a much more attractive prospect. That's not draw one extra card per turn at the cost of 4 resources.
Yeah.
That then becomes, if I didn't find that, what I've picked off the top wasn't any good, I can just pick something else off the top. Now, obviously, if you then have a discard system for resources, which I know I've just been talking about.
I don't think this card is why I don't think there's why I don't think you discard cards to pay for things. Because if you're paying 4 cards, discarding 4 cards.
So other
to
games will
draw another card.
You get 2 resources, you get 3 resources per card that you.
Even then, it's
But 2 would make sense if you discarded a card for 2, then drawing a card for an extra.
So you discard 2 cards
to draw a card.
You get 3 cards out of your hand because you've got to play the Magic Mirror. That's 1 card out of your hand.
Yeah.
And you've discarded a card to play. So it's 4 cards, isn't it? Because you've discarded a card to play the Magic Mirror. You played the Magic Mirror. That's 2 cards out of your hand already. And then 2 more to activate it. So you've got to pay 4 cards. And this is if cards give you 2 resources to get 1 extra card. That is unplayable.
Well, it depends. If you refill your hand every single turn, not necessarily. Because if you're getting those cards anyway. So think of like Marvel Champions, which I know we've both played. So in Marvel Champions, you get a full hand of generally 5 or 6 cards.
Yeah.
Every single turn.
Unless you're Iron Man.
Unless you're a bad character. No, sorry, Iron Man's not terrible.
Iron Man's weak until Iron Man builds Iron Man's suit. Which makes sense, right?
No, it doesn't make sense. Tony Stark's a billionaire. He's
doing fine in research and
He's
design.
a genius billionaire.
Have you never watched Iron Man?
I have, yes.
Yeah. So he has to design the suit, Simeon.
Oh, yeah, I've got to design the suit. That's where you start the game. Oh, man. Okay, right. We're getting off topic. However, in that game, you get a full grip of hands every turn, in which case resources like that, paying that amount, so you discard 1 card to get this onto the battlefield, let's say, to get this onto the table. I don't know. My brain's gone too far down that path. Maybe I just need to. I've been playing. You know what it is? We've been playing too much Marvel Champions. I'll tell you about my epic Thanos game once we finish.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it's that.
Okay.
Next card. Well, do you have anything else to say?
No.
On that one.
But no, I do not.
Do you want to talk about the next?
Oh, sorry. So you were saying next card, and I'm like, yes, David, read me the next card, slave. So the next card is an action card. It's an action which is in amber. Is that the yellow? It's yellow amber.
Yellowy orangey colour. Yeah,
it's amber. Great. Oh, brilliant. I got it right. Okay, it costs 1, and this is the full logo around the 1. So this isn't just the hexagon. This is a hexagon with the logo surrounding it. The card is Healing Glow. It is an action, and it says remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. So it's from the movie Tangled, which if you've watched the movie, if you haven't watched the movie, go watch it because it's excellent and funny for anybody at any age. This is something that I will happily watch with my kids. It's not so much. Anyway, sorry, I'm going off track. Anyway,
it's a good movie.
It's a great movie. So Rapunzel's hair glows when she heals someone, and it's called Healing Glow. So there's a few things here. First of all, this very much confirms. We had guessed that damage stayed on characters because otherwise, why would you have damage counters? But this pretty much confirms it that there will be damage counters, and then you can remove them. The other thing you've noted here is that this is an action which is a different colour to the other actions we've seen. So we've seen red actions already, and this is now an amber action. Sorry, we've seen sapphire actions already. I'm learning the colours of stones. And this one now is in a different colour, is in amber. There's one other thing that I think this signifies,
Go on then.
and this makes higher toughness creatures better.
This card makes higher toughness creatures because they can last
This
longer.
mechanic, the fact that you will be able to remove damage from cards once they're already damaged, that's a thing that they've printed and have said, yes, we're going to print this mechanic.
So cards with more shields, more higher value in the shield thing. Toughness, yeah.
Definitely. Because if you've got a card with 2 defense, toughness, I don't know what they're calling it, but number 2 in the shield, and I challenge it, and it gets 2 damage, for example,
Then it's gone. It's banished.
then it's gone. Whereas if I've got something with 6 in the shield, then I've got a lot of time to not just soak up that damage, but I can soak up that damage, and then I can potentially, using this or other cards, remove it.
And this seems, compared to the card draw, which costs 6 to get your first card, this costs 1. Seems really good value.
Well, this also reminds me of a Magic the Gathering card from the first ever set. So in the first set, there was a...
Yeah, this would be a terrible card in Magic the Gathering.
Well, so there was a cycle of cards, and you know all of them, but you know Lightning Bolt, deal 3 damage. So it was 3.
That is a good card.
3 for
That's
1.
a really good
So
card,
Lightning
yeah.
Bolt, 3 damage for 1 red mana.
Yeah, that's an auto include in red decks.
Dark Ritual, 3 black mana for 1 black mana. Again,
Gives you more resources.
broken in so many formats.
It's not damage, it's resources.
So so that's 3 resources for 1 resource. Giant Growth, make a creature 3 bigger for 1 green mana. Anyway, the white one was prevent 3 damage.
Okay.
The next 3 damage or 3 damage for 1 white mana.
Yeah, that would be a terrible card nowadays.
Yeah.
Not terrible, but it's not completely unplayable in some formats, but you wouldn't use it in Commander.
I guess the thing that is always the case with these cards is it's the opportunity cost. The cost of
having it in your deck.
exactly. That's what I mean by opportunity cost.
Yeah.
The card itself may be absolutely fine, but we don't know how hard it is to draw a card. So at that point, if you're not refilling your hand all the time, that could have been something much better. That could have been a 1 cost, a glimmer, a creature,
Which you'd rather have than
which
heal
you'd probably
2.
rather have than heal 2. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But initial speculation is probably doesn't do enough as to include it in a deck. Okay, what's the next card up?
The next card, which we knew about from the starter decks, but we hadn't seen the text on the card, is Aladdin.
Wow, we knew about it from the starter decks. However, we've seen different art for Aladdin.
So this might be a different
on
Aladdin.
the thing. So this is the Storyborn Aladdin, but the card that's been revealed is the Storyborn Aladdin. But there might be
A Dreamborn Aladdin.
Dreamborn
which
Aladdin, or a
which would
Floodborn
make
Aladdin.
sense why I didn't recognize Aladdin if it was a
Yeah.
reimagining. Yeah. So this costs 2. It's an emerald card, green, and it has strength or power 2, and then defense or toughness 2. So it's a 2/2. We're not aware of it having any lore counters on it. Now that part is obscured when they did the spoil, so it might have lore.
Okay.
But we're not aware of any. And it also has an ability called Ward, which we've come across before. So opponents can't choose this character, can't choose Aladdin except to challenge, so they can't choose it for other reasons.
So you couldn't cast Dragonfire. You couldn't
Aladdin.
play the Dragonfire spell or action. Sorry, action. You can play the Dragonfire action on Aladdin to deal damage directly to it. What do you think?
I don't know what to think. This isn't the only card without lore. If it doesn't have lore, there are other cards that have been spoiled that the next one we're going to talk about clearly doesn't have lore, whereas this is unknown. It seems like a bad card, but it's really hard to tell.
It's one of those things that lower cost cards are hard to me. Seem harder to evaluate because does it do enough? I don't know. Could there be a whole deck based around having small things that have ward or are given ward.
That are protected.
That are protected,
yeah.
and you just keep on,
that-
doing whatever
yeah.
it is with those
That's true.
low-cost cards. In which case, as part of a wider deck, then that seems viable to me.
Yeah.
However, it's difficult to evaluate.
But what's nice about it is really thematic, isn't it? The ward. It goes with the flavor text.
Untouchable, yeah.
Practically untouchable, which is Aladdin in the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's great. Okay, so the next card we've got is Scar. Scar is a 6-cost blue card. Give me a
Sapphire.
gem. Sapphire. There we are. I had no idea. Well, what's red then?
Ruby.
Ruby. I think I called Sapphire Ruby. Anyway, I have no idea. I'm so bad at this. Why am I on a podcast about this? Okay, sorry. This is a 6-cost Sapphire card. It's got Scar, Mastermind, 5 power, 4 shield, a Storyborn, a villain, as you'd expect Scar to be. So this is Scar, the baddie from The Lion King. The ability is the Insidious Plot. When you play this character, chosen opposing character gets -5 power this turn. A couple of things on this. This full card has been revealed and does not have lore, or doesn't appear to have lore in the spoiler. So we've seen the full picture of the card, so we're not expecting that. Sorry, I should also read the flavor text. The best plans involve a little danger, just not for me. Which I feel like that's your style of playing games, David.
I'm Scar. Is that what you're saying?
You're definitely.
The thing is, though,
I
I don't choose cards that look like Scar. I choose cute little bunnies.
cute little things, but the whole there should be danger, but my stuff's safe. I like that.
But it's so thematic with his. Other people do the dirty work for Scar, isn't it? The hyenas in the movie, but in this, he's going to remove 5 power from another character, but he can't come in and then attack that character because when you play them, cards can't then attack, as far as we can tell.
So from what we can tell, it doesn't look like because there is the ability that gives them
which we'll come to
in a second,
which gives them the ability to do that, but that is a special ability. So Scar's going to help by taking out someone's ability to attack back, but then someone else has to win the fight for him.
Yeah, but that leads on to the point that I wanted to make about Scar, which is until now we have pretty much been able to piece together that challenging is you turn your character sideways and it deals its power to another card in form of damage. So it damages
and reduces that card's toughness.
And
damage.
reduces
hits it for damage, which we would assume reduces its toughness, reduces its defense.
Now, we're assuming that when that gets to 0, that then is banished. That's what we're assuming. However, until now, we didn't have any indication of if this was a punch effect. So when you challenge something, I mean, the word itself kind of does, but apart from that, when you challenge something, whether you're just dealing that damage to that
or you're taking damage back as well.
Or whether you're taking the damage back as well, exactly. So this seems to indicate that it would be taking the damage back again, because this only does it on this turn. So this only reduces another card's power this turn.
Yeah, and that's generally not that great when something only happens once, especially that it costs 6 and it doesn't have any lore on it either. It seems a lot.
Okay, the next card I don't have anything to say about whatsoever. David, do you want to read it to us?
The next card is cost 3 and it's called the Wardrobe from Beauty and the Beast, Belle's Confidant.
Is it a wardrobe?
Dreamborn ally.
It's a Dreamborn ally wardrobe. I'm really sad that they haven't given it the character type wardrobe.
It's the Dreamborn ally. It has strength or power 3 and then defense/toughness 4. It doesn't have any abilities. It doesn't have any lore.
Okay.
It has flavor text when you simply must have the artist's couture. Can you correct my French if that's not right?
No, I'm just going to let you say it like that. That's fine.
Come on, correct my French.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay. No, I think this card's interesting.
Okay, why is that?
For 2 reasons, but for what it tells us rather than is it a good card.
Okay,
it's hard to tell if it is a good card. I mean, it seems 3/4 for 3. That's not terrible. But what it tells, it's probably a common because we know there are rarity types. Because it's so basic, that probably means it's a common. And it also lets us get a baseline of costs. So if a card doesn't have any lore, it doesn't have any abilities,
Yeah.
what power and toughness should you probably be expecting for what cost at the common level? Because commons tend to be
Yes.
less powerful.
Well, I'd also say that this also then puts things like Aladdin into a better light. Aladdin is cost 2, is a power 2, toughness or defense 2, and has an ability.
Okay, and has an ability, yeah.
So there's an ability there that is relevant. So yeah, I mean that's fine. I saw something on social media, not related to Lorcana, I don't think, about the wardrobe and the teacups and all of the little what's it called, candlestick in Beauty and the
Lumiere.
Beast. Yeah, in Beauty and the Beast, the servants in the house were cursed and turned into furniture and cutlery. What happened to the furniture and cutlery that was already there? Was it a barren house before that?
Maybe their spirits inhabited the stuff that was already there.
I'm thinking too much about this. Anyway, that was the question.
I think you need to read the original novel and find out, Simeon.
Oh, is it from a...
It's from a classic novel, yeah.
Oh, okay. I read?
Go to the bookshop.
I need to know. If it's not on a trading card, I don't want to read. Next card, and we're coming up...
I should have said that the wardrobe is amethyst purple. I didn't.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's also a purple amethyst card. So the next card is another item card. Now, this is a 3-cost, also amethyst card item. White Rabbit's Pocket Watch, and has the ability, I'm late, and you can turn it sideways and pay 1 to give a chosen character rush. Now, rush means they can challenge the turn they're played. So, a couple of things on this. I'll start at the very top of the card. At the very top of the card, this is an item, but unlike the other item we've seen, this item has the full logo in the cost of the card.
That's true.
So, yeah, I don't know. People are wondering what that means. I don't know. And I don't really have a speculation that is better than, there could be different ways of paying for it. Don't know. Or could it be that you can, no, it can't be playing timings, because those are both items. Anyway, that's the first interesting thing. The second interesting thing is that this confirms that characters usually can't challenge the turn that they're played. So usually when you play a character, you have to wait until the next turn until they can challenge or do its thing, I mean, I suppose.
Do you think it's good value? So you've got to pay 4 in the first instance, 3 to cast it, and then 1 to use the ability to give another character rush.
Yes.
You think that's good value?
No, because it's not to give... Because, okay, is 4 good value to give 1 thing rush? No. Is 5 good value to give 2 things rush? Maybe. Is 6 good value to give 3 things rush when you're then playing really big things because the game's escalated and you've got resources to do that? In my little world,
it puts you a turn ahead of other players. Is that what you're saying? Because you can put things out and use them right away, whereas the other players can't.
Okay, so once you've got it out on the board, once you've got it down, which is an initial investment, I get that, but basically it puts you in a world where you get 1 more resource per turn, which is probably
so it doesn't put you a turn ahead because you've got to spend that extra resource to activate it.
It gives you the element of surprise, though. So once you've got it out, it puts you exactly on the turn that you're
surprise
doing.
In what sense? Because everyone knows you've got it out; they can see it there.
Yeah, but it means that they don't know what you're playing and what you're going to be challenging. And if you've even got something, you've got to prepare. If I've got a pocket watch out.
Yeah,
you've got to make sure that you can defend, however the defense works, against whatever I play next go.
Yeah.
Or if I happen to draw a load of things that are irrelevant, you've still had to cater for that. So that's information that I have that
you're making the other person second guess their choices.
Definitely,
because they might want to tap down, exhaust their characters, challenge with them. Because they're aware that you can come in and do something right away with your rush.
Yeah.
You'd want this ability, the rush ability, in what I would call an aggro deck. So a deck where you're getting as many low-cost characters down as quickly as you can and attacking before the other player has a chance to say they're working with high power and toughness cards that are really powerful and have lots of lore on them and things like that. You want to get going quickly.
Yes and no. I think there are two types of deck that require that. Yes, you're right that in other card games like Magic the Gathering, where you see it's called Rush, is called Haste, and when you see a creature with Haste, that's generally given to a smaller creature, and you want to play a lot of them, get the damage in as quickly as you possibly can, and you're getting the damage in a turn earlier, or you're able to use it a turn earlier, and that works really well with an aggressive strategy. The other place that works really well, which we see with items in Magic the Gathering like Crashing Drawbridge, is in what we call Stompy decks, which play massive things and have the time to set up. So if you're focusing on playing really big beaters, you want that beater to be as effective as possible the turn it comes in.
Okay. Yeah.
And also, you haven't necessarily filled your deck with smaller things to play on the earlier turns of the game. At which point, having something that makes it more impactful. Now, I think people will look at this, people who have played games like Magic the Gathering will look at this and compare it to something like Crashing Drawbridge. I think that's wrong. In Magic, I would compare that to Vidalcan Ori, which is a card that lets you play your cards on other people's turns, so they're ready when they come in, which costs 4.
Okay.
I think that if we're looking, a lot of this seems very Magic-esque. So, yeah, sure. Is it a Crashing Drawbridge effect in Lorcana? Yes, it is. But is that effective in that deck that wants to set up and then do 1 or 2 turns of stupidly powerful thing right at the end?
Yeah.
I think that'll be decent.
Yeah. So
Now-
this go on.
Sorry. Now the limitation is it's chosen character gains Rush this turn. So it can only do one.
That said, it's about challenging character to character, isn't it? And
Yes.
So that's different as well. So it might make it more effective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also probably good if you're challenging things that are at that larger, higher cost thing, which is an effective thing. If you've got 4, 5, 6 different things out, and so's your opponent, and you're impacting one of those things, I mean, that becomes less good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's yet to be seen.
Yeah, so that makes more sense of what you were saying, that you want to do it on something big rather than something small, because it's really not very impactful if you cast something with 1 and then you double the casting cost to give it rush, and then you attack with it and it's a 2/2 or something.
Yeah. So we've seen,
and then you lose it straight away because the other thing's bigger.
yeah. Oh, it might have added to some damage, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. The 2 items we've seen have been Amethyst.
That's true.
And the character that we've seen that is Amethyst that we just
it's an
talked
item,
about,
effectively. It's a wardrobe.
is a wardrobe.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether Amethyst purple
what is the
going to be
original
colour.
Amethyst character? Was it Maleficent? Let's have a look. It was Elsa, who likes the free stuff.
Yeah, which would
And
be
Olav is also Amethyst. So
also a thing.
So it's also a thing, also an object.
An
'cause
object.
It's snow, yeah. So this does seem to add up that Amethyst is the world of objects. Yeah, so this card this White Rabbit's Pocket Watch touches at the dilemma of my deck building. Because I love the art, I love the card, I love Pocket Watches.
Okay.
I don't love the effect. I'm not excited by giving my characters Rush. And is Rush good? If Rush turns out to be good, then I'll be like, yeah, I really want Amethyst in my deck because I want the Pocket Watch in my deck. If Rush isn't good, that's my dilemma. Do I build decks because I like stuff or because it's like powerful? And I think when I first came to Magic, I was like, I like this. I built a deck because I was like, I like that and I like that and I like that and I like that. And you sat down with me and you're like, David, that's not even a legal deck.
Well, it's not that.
And
it's
then
also...
I played my first game and I was like, it's not. I'd made it legal. I was like, this isn't a good deck. And then I got down the whole rabbit hole of, I just want to get the best powerful stuff ever.
Yeah.
And then went down that. And now I'm kind of back to I want to do stuff because I like it.
I guess to me, you've got to play the things that you like, but you've also got to like how it plays.
Yep.
So you've got to like the art, but you've also got to like how it plays. I had exactly the same. Yeah, when I started, the first deck that I thought I had built from scratch was Knights. And at the time, now since Eldraine, things have gotten a lot better for Knights in Magic the Gathering. But at the time I built Knights,
These are the knights that charge on horses, not the things that happen after the day.
Yeah, this was Knights in Shining Armor deck. And I like the idea of it. I like the art on a lot of them. One of them had was riding a panther rather than a horse, and I like that. Oh, that was super cool. But they just weren't that good. Now, it's not that they weren't effective at what they did, because they were fine cards, but they just wasn't playing it. Felt disjointed because it didn't have like an overarching.
It didn't
theme.
work as a deck. It worked thematically as I put knights together, but
yeah.
it didn't work from a play perspective.
And each individual card was fine, but they just weren't.
They didn't synergize.
Yeah. So no, I think there is always that in games, isn't there? That kind of tension between, do I play the things I like, or do I play the things that are going to win me the game? To me, it's like both. When you're with your mates and you've cracked open a beer and you're having some fun, and you're playing some games, play what you like. When you're at a tournament, play what's going to win, if you want to win.
Yeah, but even people that win tournaments play the deck that they like best out of the ones that have the potential to win.
That have potential. Yeah, definitely. And also, sometimes you can do very well in a tournament without, by playing the thing that isn't in the meta, that isn't in
that surprises everyone. They don't know how to deal with it because it's not something they've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, next card, Simeon.
Next card, one but last card. We have an 8-cost card.
That's a lot, isn't it? 8.
It is a steel card. The famous semi-precious stone. Steel. This is Gantu from Lilo and Stitch. Gantu is a Galactic Federation captain. 6 power, 6 toughness. A storyborn alien captain. And it has the ability...
Not a hero or villain, a captain.
Not a hero or a villain.
So do you have a captain of your deck?
No. It's just something that there are lots of captains in Disney, right? So Captain Hook, captain.
I think Captain Hook's a villain.
And a captain.
And a captain, is it?
I don't know.
You're right. It's a dreamborn villain pirate captain.
four types.
Who's also steel, yeah.
So, I really hope people make captain my captain decks. Anyway, under arrest, characters cost 2 or less, can't challenge your characters. It also has... two pips, 2 lore on the card, and it says relax, enjoy the trip, and don't get any ideas. So it's this idea of shutting down other people's low cost characters.
Yeah, so it's a control deck rather than an aggressive deck. So I talked about aggressive decks earlier that have low cost things that want to start attacking quickly, whereas this is a kind of a really high cost when it costs 8, and it shuts down that strategy. So as long as you get this out before the other players won, you're probably then going to take control of the game. And be more likely to win. That's your strategy anyway.
If your opponent is playing low cost characters.
Yeah, it's quite situational, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, are you going to want this in every matchup? I'm not sure. This is what I kind of see as an attempt by the design team to make it a balanced meta with rock, paper, scissors style mechanics, where different decks are really good against other decks, but don't work so well against other decks.
So if you had a Gantu against the Gantu deck, it would be kind of...
Well, not necessarily.
It's like going paper when you do rock, paper, scissors.
Exactly. Yeah. So we see this in other games, but in particular as well, it could be that the design team were finding that the very best thing when they were playtesting this was to play a lot of low cost characters, and at that point, should we solve that problem? Well, we could solve it with a rules change or by making some characters more expensive. Or everything else is working good. We could just grease those cogs a little bit and just make a card that says 2 cost or lower characters are a little bit worse.
A lot worse. They can't do anything.
Well, I don't know. Well, they could still, if they got static abilities, they could still do those things. But yes, it seems like challenging is a big part of this game, and they can't do that. Yeah.
There aren't many characters we've seen with cost 2 or less yet. Let's see who it's. Okay, there are a few. Cruella de Vil, Captain Hook, Olaf is 1. Aladdin, the the different Aladdin we've seen today.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's a minority of the ones with it.
Yeah, it's a minority so far.
Which, if it was a good strategy, you'd think it might be a majority rather than a minority.
Well, it depends how many you need in a deck.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also something that, well, not necessarily 60. You might be able to put 3 of the same card in your deck.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
So if you're putting and I think that's something that probably if I was playtesting, if I was given, oh, look, here's 200 cards, build some decks to playtest and think of stuff that could be good, then yes, the weenie strategy, the lots of very little things, but I'm going to overrun, but I'm going to overrun the board with tiny little things, is something that's easy to put together and can be really problematic very, very quickly. Okay. Interesting. Tell us about the last card.
The last card is the one that I'm most excited about, and I am 99% certain it's going in my deck. So it's steel, so that probably means I'm going to have a steel deck.
Okay.
It's part of my deck. So maybe I'm looking at steel amethyst. Those are my 2 ones I'm drawn to. It's 3 costs. It's Tinkerbell.
Okay.
Tiny tactician. Tinkerbell has attack ability of 2 and a toughness or defense of 4. And this Tinkerbell is a Dreamborn ally fairy. So it's a reimagined Tinkerbell. It doesn't look exactly like the Tinkerbell in the movie.
No.
It's holding a needle. It has a thimble on its head. And it has a button as a shield. So it's kind of in attack mode, I guess.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have evasive, which I would expect that Tinkerbell 2, because Tinkerbell has wings, Tinkerbell can fly. It has an ability called Battle Plans, where you can exhaust, tap Tinkerbell, and then draw a card, and then choose and discard a card. So you take a card, and then you look at your hand, and you say, well, of your hand, which one's that I want? And you discard that one. And it has 1 law, and the flavor text is sometimes all you need is a little tactical genius. So what I'm seeing in the flavor text and in the name Tiny Tactician is that Tinkerbell helps you make tactical decisions, because you can have a bit more what I call card advantage.
Yep.
Because you can take a card, you can see which, and then you can choose which would be the best hand out of those cards that you have. So it's not card draw, it doesn't increase your hand size, but it gives you some card selection, card advantage, which then can switch up your tactics. So that's why Tinkerbell is a tactician. I just love the art, that's why I want to put this card in my... I also like the ability, it's called looting.
So is it just card selection that you appreciate? You appreciate being able to look at the next cards and see what's happening?
I don't love that ability, because I don't like discarding cards. I think some players don't mind it, but I just love the art. That's my main thing of this. But card selection is always good. Card selection is never... That's what I had to learn, because I don't like discarding cards for a long time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put this type of card in my deck, because I'd be like, that's bad, you've got to discard something. But actually, it's better than not being able to do it at all, because it means you cycle through your deck quicker, so you're more likely to find the card you need at that particular moment in time to deal with what's in front of you.
Yeah. So I think there's two things here. Yes, I think that's definitely the case. And also that's the best version of this. So from other card games, there's 2 ways you can do this. Or you could implement both. However...
It's the best version, not straight up card draw. Just draw a card, draw a card.
Well, no. So you could either do discard a card, draw a card.
Okay.
Or you can do draw a card, discard a card.
Yeah.
And to the uninitiated, they might say that sounds like exactly the same thing. However, if you draw the card first, you get to choose whether to discard that same card. In a situation where, let's say, you only have 1 card in your hand, and you activate...
Or even 2,
and you activate Tinkerbell, you can draw 1 card, you have 1 in your hand, and you choose which of these 2 is the best one, and you put that one away. However, if you only have 1 in your card in your hand, and you discard that card and draw another one, and it's a copy of the same card, or a rubbish card, or doesn't meet your requirements. So that's the best version of that. The other thing I'll say is that in other games, this has fueled certain tactics which rely on getting stuff back from the discard pile. So in some decks,
that's a good point. Yeah.
In some decks, in some games, discarding things is really good, because
it effectively increases your hand size, because you've got all these cards in your discard pile that you can choose from. Then it's better than cards in your deck.
So at the moment, I'd say Tinkerbell. Yeah, that looks all right. 3 cost for looting, as opposed to 6 for drawing a card. Okay, that's probably all right. However, The moment they print, pick a card in your discard pile, put it back in your hand.
Tinkerbell becomes really good.
Tinkerbell becomes really... Or cards like that, where you get to discard cards.
In terms of cost, it seems pricey. Like, for a looter, I'd be expecting to pay 2.
Yeah.
But then she has good toughness, so maybe that evens it out.
It's got good... I think it's got good toughness, so you can activate it on multiple turns.
So it doesn't just get challenged off the board.
Yeah, if it only had 2 or 3 toughness, I could see a world where you played
People
it.
don't like your Tinkerbell because it really helps you.
It really helps you. They're going to challenge that one first, whereas they're not going to necessarily challenge the other cards you've got because they don't necessarily give you an immediate advantage as soon as you have a next turn.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably relatively difficult to get rid of. It also gets a lot better if you can. And we know you can't challenge the turn you play things, but we don't know if you can activate. I don't know if you can or not. So obviously it gets exponentially better if you can do that. Because there's also that risk. There's a risk that Tinkerbell does nothing at all.
Yeah.
Comes out, takes
that's
the
not
hit
nothing.
of a challenge.
Takes the hit. That takes the hit.
Takes the hit of a
Draws
challenge.
Draws the heat. Yeah.
Well, but so would Aladdin cost 2 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But draws that. And you don't get to do the thing.
But no, I think a character that looks like a threat can be really useful.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
What I mean is that looks like your primary threat, even though in your mind it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think in particular in casual games, definitely, yes.
Yeah.
In more competitive games,
people will know.
They probably, they will know whether that's the thing or not.
So one more thing to say about this card from me, and that is it's a new artist or a different artist to anyone we've seen before. Grace Tran, and this is certainly one of my favourite arts so far. So I'm very excited to see what else Grace.
Yeah, did you look at Grace's portfolio online?
No.
So if you googled Grace Tran artist, that's all I did. There's a portfolio, and I was looking through their stuff. Nothing from. It's not like when we've seen other artists where I was immediately able to go, oh, they did art for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything looks really good. Very much that like painted style. Like a lot of Grace's stuff seemed very much like art. Rather than 3D model. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I really like in that kind of game, and we see it on the card as well. And a lot of playing with light and darkness, a lot of contrast in her work as well, which looks great when printed at a small scale. Because a lot of art is really great, but what you've got to remember, this is going to be printed at like 3 inches across, if that.
2 inches across.
2 inches across. So it's like, okay, that's going to be tiny. No, it looks really good.
Yeah, and this card has made me really excited for Lorcana again. Like I was feeling like a bit, but it was like this one's like yes, and I think the Dreamborn ones are the ones that get me really excited. Like when it's reimagining.
Yeah, I could see that being,
and I can see why they've gone both ways because there'll be some people that love the traditional Disney and want to collect that, and there'll be some people that want this kind of new world that Lorcana gives.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen that in so many things. It's just like, oh yeah, do you want the? Oh, we've seen that before. Do you like familiarity? And then, but other people, I mean, I really like the reimaginings, but I'm sure other people are like, what have they done to my boy? With some of these cards, it would just be like, oh no, I didn't want my character to do that. I guess that's the tension of storytelling, isn't it? Okay, we're running out of time, and we have yet to hear from the child.
Yeah.
Now, you'll be thankful to hear that the child came up with a game, so you don't have to play the game.
Oh, fantastic.
Because he's already played it with me.
Very happy.
Let's have a listen. It's the child!
Yay!
How are we doing, child?
Good.
So, what have you got for us today?
I've got a game.
Okay, tell me about the game. What's the game?
We're going to play 20 questions.
I know that game.
Disney style.
Disney style, 20 questions. Amazing. Would you like to do the guessing or the thinking of a Disney person?
First?
Yeah.
I want to do the guessing first.
The guessing first. Okay. I'm thinking of a Disney character.
Okay.
You have 20 questions.
Yes.
Go.
Is it from Pixar?
Yes, it's from Pixar.
Is it from Toy Story?
Yes, it's from Toy Story. How are you inside my head?
No. Is it Buzz Lightyear?
Okay, we've got to do a different one. I don't feel like I had a proper turn.
get it right?
Yeah, it was Buzz Lightyear. Oh, fine, you win. Okay, are you thinking of someone?
I am thinking of a Disney character.
Is your Disney character human?
I mean, yes?
Is your Disney character male?
It can be. And it can be a female.
What? Okay.
There's multiple of them.
Oh, okay. Is your character from Pixar?
No.
Is your character animated?
I don't know. Well,
As in, is it drawn or like on a computer or not? Or
it's like human people.
oh, it's real humans.
Uh-huh.
Real humans that have been drawn, or real humans that are actors?
Actors.
Actors?
There's not really an actor for
goodness.
this person.
And there's lots of them. Mm-hmm. I don't even know. Is this from a recent movie or from an old movie?
There's multiple movies.
There's tons of movies.
There's like 9 of them.
There's 9 movies.
Uh-huh.
What Disney movie is there 9 of?
Do you want to give you a clue?
Oh, hang on.
Yeah?
Is Home Alone Disney? There are 9 of those.
There are like 17 of those.
There are tons of those.
It's not Home Alone. Do you want to give you a clue?
I think I need a clue.
It's Star Wars.
Oh my goodness! Is it a stormtrooper?
Yes.
Oh my goodness me. I didn't even think of Star Wars being Disney. Okay, that was fun. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Now say yes, thank you, but don't sound like a robot.
Yes, thank you.
I think I prefer the first time. All right, get out of here.
Okay. Bye.
I can't believe how badly I did with that.
I as I listened, I was as lost as you were. So,
That little guy is in my head. He knew
9
exactly-
movies. What Disney franchise has 9 movies?
And yet,
That's so obvious, isn't it?
Well, yeah, when you say that, yeah. I mean, obviously, there have been more Star Wars movies, but yeah, to a kid, there's been 3 trilogies, there are 9 movies. That's great. Yeah, it's difficult. I think I put too much thought into it, in that I'm trying to think because I know him so well, what's he thought of? And I didn't think he'd pick Star Wars. Anyway,
Well, the villain was Darth Vader.
yes.
20 questions were a stormtrooper. Next time there's a thing with the kid.
Oh, that's what he's thinking of. What I'll is he? I don't know. Is he thinking what I will think? So therefore, I've got a double guess.
No,
here.
just go Star Wars. That's all
Just
I'm
go
saying.
Star Wars. Okay, great, brilliant, nice one.
You're making this way too strategical. Okay.
Lovely. Okay, if people want to find us, where can they hit us up?
At Lorcana Podcast on Twitter.
And on TikTok. We've also got an email address.
We do. LorcanaPodcast@gmail.com.
Great. Yeah, please send in your comments. You can add a comment to this if you're listening to it on YouTube or on anywhere where you can leave a comment. Please
Twitter.
do.
Yep.
And please talk to us. We love the community. It's great to chat to you guys. So please leave comments and write us emails, all of that things. If you would like to have your game featured on the program, we are now on the podcast. We are now going to the child for ideas about games. So you might have one as good as his.
Oh, I thought you were like inviting any board game creators to just send us in review copies there. And I was like, wow, this is a whole new direction.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we need a PO box if that's going to happen. I'm
No.
not thinking. Yeah.
Games for us to play on the podcast. That sounds good.
Sure, yeah, that's what I mean. And last of all, if you've just finished listening to this, a great place to go would be to Magic Madhouse, where you can read David's recent article there.
And buy things.
And you can buy things if you want to. That's the thing.
Board games, cards, Lorcana, maybe in the future.
That's on. Bye.
Bye.